All right, let's get into it. Today, we're going to do a deep dive into something pretty amazing.
Yeah, I'm excited for this one.
We're talking artificial intelligence, but
And I think a lot of people, when they hear that, they immediately go to the,
yeah,
to Terminator and,
sci-fi.
yeah,
Yeah,
sci-fi stuff.
right. Killer robots.
Exactly.
But we're not talking about that today.
No, not at all.
We're looking at the real-world ways that AI is actually making our lives better right now.
It's actually kind of mind-blowing when you start looking at the different areas where it's having a real impact.
It is, yeah. So we've got three main areas that we're going to dig into today.
Okay.
We're going to look at AI in drug discovery.
Okay.
We're going to look at AI in the election process.
Wow. Interesting.
And AI and the energy grid.
Yeah, I'm really curious about that one.
Pretty cool stuff, right?
Yeah.
So let's start with something that I think a lot of people can relate to. Health. I was reading about this biotech company that's using AI to actually find new drugs.
Mm-hmm.
And it almost sounds too good to be true, but
Right. It does sound a little, sci-fi-ish at first, but
right.
it's really incredible what they're doing. They're basically, they're using AI to analyze massive amounts of data.
Yeah.
We're talking chemical structures, clinical trial results, even genetic information to pinpoint the most promising drug candidates.
Yeah.
It's kind of like finding a needle in a haystack, but
Yeah. Well, and think about how long that process normally takes.
oh, it's years.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking years of research and testing and trials, but AI can cut that time down significantly.
So instead of years, they're talking weeks now.
Sometimes, yeah. It's crazy.
Wow.
And one of the things that really stood out to me was they're using this to focus on a rare genetic disorder that's been super hard to treat.
Yeah.
I mean, can you
It
imagine?
must be giving so much hope to people.
Exactly. Like for patients who have this condition and maybe haven't had a lot of options, to suddenly have the possibility of a real cure.
Yeah. It's huge.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Do you think, it's working with these rare diseases. Do you think this approach could revolutionize how we treat more common conditions too?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if it can work for something that's so specific and so challenging, just imagine the potential for things that are more widespread.
Yeah.
It could speed up the process for so many diseases.
Yeah.
And I mean, you think about it, if we can, develop drugs faster, that could lead to faster treatments, potentially lower costs. I mean, maybe even cures for diseases we thought were untreatable.
It's wild to think about it. It's like
Yeah.
AI is giving us a fast forward button for medical breakthroughs.
I like that. That's a great way to put it.
Okay, so let's shift gears a little bit to something completely different, but just as important. Elections,
Oh, boy.
right?
Yeah.
It seems like every time we have an election cycle, it just gets more and more chaotic.
Oh, it's crazy.
And there's so much misinformation. And it's spreading like wildfire, it seems like.
Yeah, definitely. It's like drinking from a fire hose trying to keep up with it all sometimes.
Yeah. Could AI actually help us make better decisions when it comes to elections?
Well, there's this new AI tool that's pretty amazing. It basically acts as a real-time fact checker for political ads.
Wait, hold on. Reading an ad.
Mm-hmm.
How can AI, understand something like a political ad?
Oh, it's so cool. It uses natural language processing, NLP, so it's basically teaching a computer to understand the meaning behind the words.
Okay.
Then it uses machine learning, so it learns to identify patterns that might indicate manipulation or dishonesty.
Okay.
It's like having this super-powered truth squad
That's wild.
working 24/7.
Yeah, because it's doing it instantly.
Exactly.
And it's not letting bias get in the way, hopefully.
Well, that's the goal, right? To have something that's more objective.
Yeah, that could really help us move towards more transparency and accountability in elections.
Oh, absolutely.
And imagine if this technology could be used not just for ads, but to evaluate news articles, social media posts, or even political speeches.
That would be game-changing.
We could all become more critical thinkers about the information that we're seeing.
Exactly. We'd be better equipped to sort through all the noise and figure out what's real and what's not.
Now that's a future I can get behind. Okay, so last but not least, let's talk about AI and something we all kind of rely on, energy.
Okay.
I never really thought about AI being involved in this, but, how do we keep the lights on, right?
Right. And actually, this is a really cool example of how AI can be used for sustainability.
Okay.
So think about the power grid.
Yeah.
It's this incredibly complex system. It's got to balance supply and demand all the time.
And it's it's got to be especially hard. I mean, the more we rely on things like solar and wind power, which
Yeah.
can be kind of unpredictable.
Totally. That's exactly where AI can be so helpful. So utility companies, they're using AI to create these smart grids.
Okay.
They can analyze data from weather forecasts, from our usage habits, even from smart devices in our homes, and it can predict energy needs in real time.
So it's like AI is this like super efficient energy manager.
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and it's got huge implications.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's got to make the grid more reliable,
Yeah,
right?
oh, definitely. And it can reduce waste, lower costs, and even help us use more renewable energy.
So it's a win-win. Good for the environment and good for our wallets.
Exactly.
Pretty amazing. I mean, AI seems to be like popping up everywhere, making things better in ways we didn't really even think of.
Right. And I think this is just the beginning. Like the possibilities for AI to improve our lives, they're just massive.
Yeah.
But it's really up to us to make sure it's used ethically.
Yeah, responsibly. Definitely. It's like we have this incredible tool,
Right.
but we've got to make sure we're using it to build a better world for everyone.
Couldn't agree more.
So, I mean, think about these examples that we talked about today.
Yeah.
What are you most excited to see AI do in the future? What really stood out to you?
That's a good question.
And that's something for everyone listening to think about too. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Keep learning, keep exploring, and we'll see you next time.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.